If you've ever wondered why saying no feels impossible, why you automatically apologize even when you did nothing wrong, or why keeping everyone else comfortable always comes before your own needs, this video is going to explain exactly where that started. You didn't become a people pleaser by accident. You were trained to be one. And when you grow up with a narcissistic parent, people pleasing isn't a personality trait, it's a survival strategy. As a child, you learned very quickly that expressing your needs, disagreeing, or taking up too much space came with consequences, like anger, guilt, punishment. So your nervous system did what it was designed to do. It adapted. It learned that keeping the peace was safer than being honest, that shrinking yourself was safer than being seen, and that saying yes, even when you meant no, kept you out of danger. And it worked. It kept you safe as a child. But the problem is that strategy didn't stay in your childhood home. It followed you everywhere, into your friendships, into your romantic relationships, and even into your workplace, into every room you've ever walked into. So, what does this actually look like? You say yes when you mean no because disappointing someone else feels unbearable. Not just uncomfortable, but unbearable. Like something terrible will happen if they are upset with you. You apologize automatically. Someone bumps into you and you say sorry. Someone raises their voice and you immediately assume that you did something wrong. You monitor everyone's moods. You walk into a room and within seconds you've scanned every face, every energy, every subtle shift in atmosphere. And you learned to do this as a child because reading your parents' mood was how you stayed safe. You struggled to ask for what you need because in your house your needs were too much. Your needs were met with sighs or guilt trips or outright dismissal. So you learned to need nothing, or at least pretend that you didn't. You feel responsible for everyone else's emotions. If someone is upset, you feel like it must be your fault. If someone is uncomfortable, you feel like it's your job to fix it. That's not empathy, it's a trauma response. If you're someone who says yes when you mean no, who struggles to speak up because you don't want to disappoint anyone, who overthinks every interaction and ends up blaming yourself when something goes wrong, I made something just for you. It's called the People Pleaser's Emotional Reset Guide, and it walks you through how to slow down, how to recognize what you're actually feeling, and how to come back to yourself instead of abandoning yourself the way that you were taught to. It's completely free and it's linked in the description below. So, how do you actually start unlearning this? The first step is understanding that people pleasing is not who you are, it's what you learned. And anything that was learned can also be unlearned. But it takes time, it takes practice, and it is possible. The second step is to pause before you respond. The automatic yes, the automatic apology, the automatic shrinking, these happen so fast because they're wired into you. The pause is where you interrupt the pattern. Even 1 second of hesitation before you respond is you choosing yourself over the reflex. The third step is tolerating the discomfort that comes with disappointing people. This is the hardest part because when you say no, when you hold a boundary, when you put yourself first, it will feel wrong. Your nervous system will tell you that you've done something terrible. That feeling is not the truth. It's just the old wiring telling you to go back to what's familiar. The fourth step is recognizing that the people in your life who truly care about you will not leave because you have needs. The relationships that can't survive you being honest about what you want and about your boundaries were never safe to begin with. If you've ever been in a conversation where someone says something and it hits you and you just go blank, you go completely blank, you can't think, you can't speak, and you can't defend yourself, this is called the freeze response, and it's one of the most common experiences for people pleasers. I created the Freeze Recovery Response Kit to give you the words to say in exactly those moments. It gives you word for word scripts for when your mind goes blank with your family, in your relationships, and even at work, so you never walk away from a conversation wishing you had said something ever again. The link is in the description. And I want to say something important before I go. If you grew up with a narcissistic parent and you became a people pleaser, it's not a character flaw. It's not a weakness. It is a child who did everything that they could to survive in an environment that was not safe. You were resourceful. You were adaptive. You had to do what you had to do. But you are not that child anymore, and now you get to decide, slowly, imperfectly, one moment at a time, who you want to be now that you're safe enough to find out. If this video resonated with you, the next one you should watch is about how growing up with a narcissistic parent affects your romantic relationships. Because people pleasing doesn't just stay in the family, it follows you into every relationship that you've ever had. That video is linked right here. Subscribe for weekly videos on healing from narcissistic abuse and people pleasing patterns. And comment below, do you recognize yourself in any of these patterns? I read every single comment. Take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next video.